Hello everyone and welcome back with another video. Today we have once again What If Naruto Was Obito's Little Brother part 11. Usually by now I'll probably be on to a different series. Actually this should be its second part, but yeah. So anyways, not much to say, so let's get straight into things. Of course, as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, most importantly enjoy. Also don't forget to share, that does help too. And without further ado, play the intro.
With the fever dreams, I push a mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python grab what I like real fast. So until I have everything
Okay, start things off. After hearing the explosion, the group will run straight into the village to see, well, what the heck is going on and what happened to pass by Sakura as she noticed the group and Sasuke more quickly and would stop in her tracks at seeing him again, her usual self. Just can't do anything around Sasuke, but Naruto would grab Sakura, shaking her to snap out of it, and would ask what is happening. As Sakura would explain that the Akatsuki is invading the village, being out of her trance. As after hearing this, Naruto would begin to panic a little and immediately ask where, well, the other Naruto is, as Sakura would explain that he went off to train to learn Sage Mode, or just train if she wouldn't know if he went to learn Sage Mode. As Naruto would immediately breathe a sigh of relief before turning around too. As Naruto would ask Sakura, well, how many members of the Akatsuki are here, as she would list off, well, there are about 9 from reports. These being the 6 Paths of Pain, Konan, Sasori, and Deidara. Although they would know that, as Naruto would say that they should split up to, take on more members, for more ground, as Sasuke would agree, saying that's a good idea, along with Sakura, and so the group would split up into Team Sakura, and Karin would trying to both go with Sasuke. Starting a little fight between each other before Naruto would break them up and just assign groups to everyone. These groups being Suigetsu and Karin, Naruto and Sakura, and Gay and Jugo. Karin probably wouldn't be happy with this, however, there isn't much time to argue as the three would head off into their own directions. Suigetsu and Karin, switching over to their point of view, they would be running off and, of course, would encounter Deidara. Well, not of course, they encountered Deidara just attacking some, well, at this point, helpless Jonin, as Suigetsu would basically shoot himself up straight to Deidara, kind of like he does in his Ninja Storm 2 Ultimate. This attack coming from behind as Deidara would turn around to see Suigetsu, would attempt to get out of the way of Suigetsu's slash and would, but he would be left with a shadow cut around his chest area. But he'd still be good enough to fight as he would. As Deidara would ask Suigetsu, well, yell to Suigetsu, hey, what's the big idea? But Suigetsu ignoring his comment and just marking on how close he was, which would annoy Deidara even more, as he'd yell to Suigetsu that he's talking to him, and not to just ignore his opponent. As Suigetsu would say, yeah, in nonchalant tone. By the way, Karin at this point would just be probably hiding behind a wall somewhere she can't exactly fight, so. As Deidara would say, he's gonna make Suigetsu regret what he just did, as Suigetsu will weave some hand signs, casting a water shockwave jutsu, this attack hurtling straight towards Deidara, as Deidara would instantly make a clay bird and begins flying away and launching a multitude of explosions at Suigetsu, creating those, well, clay figures to run at him, and other sorts of bursts of explosions. As Suigetsu would attempt to slice through one of them, however, it just blow up in his face. As more would come at him, and Data would end up turning to like this pearly thing and start, moving around them to avoid them, and slicing through the mall and arriving behind them with the mall exploding in a cool fashion behind him, suffering the entire area in smoke as he would use this opportunity to quickly, this time much faster, launch himself straight at Datara once again, landing on his bird and stabbing him straight through the chest. However, this would just be revealed to be like one of his explosive clay clones. Data would emerge from the inside of it, jumping out, and Suigetsu would be left taking a point blank explosion, with Data exclaiming on how did Suigetsu like his art. Well, he wouldn't know his name, so he just asked, "How did you like my art?" And Suigetsu would just be falling to the ground, although he'd be able to stand back up. Getting ready for round two, however, would be hit with a shining light as he looked below him to see, well, a explosion, as multiple would come up from the ground, and just like that one scene for My Hero Academia of Toga taking all the explosive blood, Data would take about a bunch of mines from all different areas. As Data will remark, although a bit cocky, that can't be all he has left, or something like that. As at this point, Suigetsu would be kinda struggling to get back up, thinking that Data is about as tough as Kisame. As he started to try and think of a way he can get out of this one, before Data would form like that big explosion he used against Gaara, although this one would be a bit smaller, just meant to take out this entire block along with Suigetsu. As Data would announce this to Suigetsu, also Karan were here, saying that they better dodge if they don't hope to die, in sending the thing down. As Karan, with the panic expression, would understandably begin to run away to avoid it, and Suigetsu would do the same, however, would fall down. As Karin would rush over to go and save him, she's not completely heartless. But the bomb is getting closer. Looks like they won't make it in time until they are luckily saved by someone yelling Fang over Fang, as they would manage to avoid these two. And they would sweep up Suigetsu and Karin, quickly exiting the area as it be blown to smithereens, just leaving a huge crater of dust and parts from different buildings. As they'd eventually be sat down where they'd lay witness to seeing, well, Kiba, Shino, and Hinata, as Hinata would ask them if they're okay, with Suigetsu and Karin saying they're fine after taking a moment, as Suigetsu would thank Kiba for saving him. Kiba responds with a "you're welcome" or "no problem," asking for Suigetsu's name, which he would tell him, grabbing his hand to help him up and telling him that they've got him and his team have got it from here. As Kiba would give his and introduce the rest of his team, as Suigetsu would have no problem with them kind of taking over this fight, and so would just leave it up to Team Kurenai. As we would cut to Naruto and Sakura, as they soon encounter their own battle, encountering the Katsuki member Sasori, although this time with his other share, the one with all the red hair. As Sasori would just finish killing a shinobi and would take a look at Naruto and Sakura, and him acknowledging Naruto's presence before throwing the port Joni away, as he asked Naruto, well, why is he helping with the whole invasion? As Sakura, a little bit confused, would ask Naruto, well, does he know Sasori? As Naruto would try lying, saying that they fought in a battle before. And Sasori would quickly be able to pick up that Naruto is kind of hiding something, saying to Naruto, so he sees, and saying that he's a traitor. Though he say this in a nonchalant tone, telling him that Pain isn't going to be happy after hearing this, grabbing his cloak and throwing it off for dramatic effect. As Naruto would say, he doesn't fear Pain, as Sasori responds saying that just because he's an old comrade doesn't mean that he's going to spare him, as Naruto would say he feels the exact same way. His sword and getting ready for the unavoidable conflict. Sakura, although confused, would say that should Naruto later also get in a fighting stance to fight Sasori. Sasori would pull out the third Kazekage puppet and along with it would shoot out a bunch of poison needles straight at the two. As the two would begin to dodge them, Naruto would, deflect a few with his sword, and Sakura would end up landing on the wall of a nearby house as she jumped straight to Sasori to go for a punch. As Sasori would make a iron sand cube, calling Sakura too slow, and it would come slamming down on the woman. Naruto would probably yell her name or something, but would be surprised once the cube starts rising, with Sakura struggling to lift it up, but still being able to pull it off. She threw the thing straight at Sasori, who would dodge out of the way, and Naruto would cut the thing in half with a Chidori once it comes coming to him. As Naruto would cast the Wood Dragon Jutsu, sending them straight towards Sasori in midair, who would use the blades on his elbows to cut their heads off, neck to head off. Although they would have bit into him before he did this, as Sasori would end up making more iron sand, just time in the form of giant spikes, and sending them towards the two, who would end up dodging them. It would begin spreading through the entire area, and Naruto would have to cut a few down using the Chidori spear with his sword. As Sakura would eventually have her back against the wall of a house, and Sasori, not missing a beat, would send the Kazekage puppet after her. As Sakura would luckily be able to catch herself and smash the third Kazekage puppet's head off, destroying the puppet. Shocking Naruto for a second time, he never really got to see Sakura get so strong, and Sasori would tell him that he shouldn't get too distracted, using his flamethrowers and shooting it straight at Naruto, who would weak some hand signs casting the flaming dragon bullet, and the two attacks colliding and getting into a small struggle, as Sakura would quickly emerge from behind Sasori to take her chance. As Naruto would begin to pour more power into this fire dragon bullet, as Sasori would be stuck in between two attacks. So in a split-second decision would stop his flamethrowers and duck under the incoming flaming dragon bullet. That would instead hit Sakura, who would have nearly hit Sasori with a punch, as Sasori, for good measure, hit Sakura with his own flamethrower, burning her, entire right side. As Naruto would begin to worry about Sakura going to, check up on her, but Sasori would come instantly flying at him using the blades on his arms to slash at Naruto, who would block it with his blade, and the two would be caught in a struggle. However, Naruto would suddenly cough up blood, being stabbed from behind from one of Sasori's, unnamed puppets. As he forcefully retracted his sword and barely dodged an attack from Sasori and have a little blade clash with him, as Sasori wouldn't light up a bit, hitting Naruto with the 100 puppet jutsu. And Naruto kind of fighting them all off, however, he would be struggling because of his little injury. Crashing through some, plainly dodging some, and others he would just swap places with. However, some he would be getting slashed by, and the poison would start to take its toll on him. But eventually, with one big lightning jutsu, like just one burst of lightning, he is able to take out all the puppets. Is even able to take off Sasori's arm, as Sasori would look at Naruto to basically see him kind of on the verge of death, as Sasori would fly straight towards him, telling him it's about time for him to die, as luckily, surprising Naruto for a third time in the day, Sakura would emerge from above, smashing to bits much like Naruto would do against that path to pain and yelling Cha in the process, even destroying the core, even smashing his heart in the process, as that would be the end of sorcery, with Sakura later going up to heal Naruto's injuries, since they'd be worse than hers, and Naruto remarking, going, well, how much she's grown. Before saying that it's all left to Sasuke and Jugo as we fade into their point of view. As they would arrive and see Kakashi's dead corpse. However, Sasuke wouldn't be able to tell this and would end up calling out Kakashi's name. However, he wouldn't respond, and upon closer inspection, he's dead. Sasuke would be trying to, of course, keep his composure, although he would be trying to also wake up Kakashi, being a bit in denial until Jugo would just stop the man, telling him that your friend is gone. As this would be sad enough for Sasuke to even unlock his Mangekyo Sharingan, wanting to find the Akatsuki member who did this. However, he would look up into the air and he lay witness to a very familiar scene. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Sorry for the, little bit rush part on Sasuke unlocking his MS. I did have a longer scene, but some very important tests are starting to come up, so I kind of have to shorten things there. Anyways, as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Don't forget, that helps too. And see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.